Calling in a Divine Counterpart, Part 1. Why does a divine counterpart matter? This essay begins a 5-part series exploring a question I'm hearing more and more, both from clients I support as a transition doula and from my own inner life. How do we know when we are actually ready to call in a divine counterpart? Not ready in the sense of manifesting or performing worthiness, but ready in our nervous systems, our capacity to receive, and our ability to recognize what we say we desire when it arrives without chaos. As a transition doula, I walk alongside people at thresholds, career changes, relationship endings, spiritual initiations, identity shifts. Again and again, love sits at the center of these transitions, not always romantic love, but often the question of partnership, belonging, and shared becoming. This series is not a guide to finding the one. It is an inquiry into whether we are prepared to meet love without abandoning ourselves. Why, if the work is internal, does love still call? I've been sitting with a question I don't hear asked very often in spiritual spaces, at least not honestly. If healing is an inside job, if wholeness does not come from another, if we are meant to self-source love, safety, and worth, why does the longing for partnership remain so persistent? Why, after years of therapy, ritual, self-inquiry, and solitude, does the desire to experience love with another human still arise softly, insistently, without apology? This is the season I find myself in, not the season of chasing love, not the season of healing for love, but the season of questioning why love matters at all, especially divine love, conscious partnership, sacred union, whatever language we give it. Because something has shifted. I've met a partner who doesn't activate the familiar patterns that once defined my healing journey. No urge to overfunction, no reflex to caretaking, no confusion between being needed and being loved. And instead of fireworks, there is presence. Instead of urgency, there is ease. Instead of vigilance, there is room. Which made me ask, is this what we were actually longing for all along? Our cultural obsession with love and fate. Culturally, we are obsessed with love. We narrate our lives through romance arcs. We measure worth through desirability. We sell fantasy, fantasy sells sex, and sex sells billions. We binge watch love stories like prophecy. A new season of Bridgerton arrives this week, inviting us once again into longing, slow burns, and the promise of being chosen. And just a few days later, on February 11th, another cultural ritual unfolds, the return of Love is Blind. Here, the myth shifts slightly. Not grand romance, but destiny. The idea that if we put our desire out into the universe loudly enough, if we apply, declare readiness, gather with others who want the same thing, love will inevitably find us. That if the wanting is sincere, the universe, or producers, will respond. And maybe it will. But what often goes unquestioned is this. Are we prepared for what arrives when desire is answered? We romanticize fate while bypassing readiness. We trust destiny more than discernment. We assume longing itself is proof of capacity. But wanting partnership and being available for it are not the same thing. Love is a field, not a fix. I no longer believe divine partnership exists to complete us, but I do believe it exists to expand us, to mirror our nervous systems back to us, to invite new levels of honesty, to stretch our capacity to receive without collapse, to offer a shared field where growth doesn't require suffering. And what feels new to me now, what feels quietly radical, is not the absence of desire, but the absence of grasping. This isn't love as hunger. It isn't love as repair. It isn't love as a curriculum for pain. It feels like companionship with consciousness, which makes me wonder if the desire for a divine counterpart isn't about filling a lack, but about wanting to experience ourselves in resonance, not alone, not fused, but coherent. The question that opens the door. So this series isn't about how to call in a partner. It's about asking the deeper question first. Are we ready to recognize the love we say we want when it arrives quietly, safely, without drama? Because if we don't know what safety feels like in our bodies, we won't trust it. If we don't know what ease feels like, we'll override it. If we don't know how to receive, we'll consciously destabilize what is steady. In the essays that follow, we'll explore how to learn the feeling states we say we desire: safety, ease, mutuality, presence, transcendence. Not as ideals, but as lived, embodied experiences. A goddess to walk with us. As we enter this inquiry, I call in Ariadne, she who did not save the hero, but gave him the thread. She who understood that love does not remove the labyrinth. It teaches us how to walk it without losing ourselves. May we learn to follow the thread of truth rather than fantasy. May we choose love that does not require our disappearance. May we recognize devotion that feels like home. If this inquiry resonates, I invite you to stay with me through the rest of the series. Be sure to subscribe and like, and learn more at goddessintraining.online.